Shame is a powerful emotion. It can grip us tightly, making us feel small and insignificant. This emotion is often so overwhelming that it can dictate our thoughts and actions, leading us down a path of self-doubt and insecurity. It tells us we are flawed, unworthy, and unlovable. These harsh judgments can echo in our minds, creating a narrative that we are not good enough. This internal dialogue can be relentless, affecting our self-esteem and how we interact with the world. Often these feelings stem from early childhood experiences. The roots of shame are deeply embedded in our formative years, where our sense of self begins to take shape. During this critical period, the messages we receive from those around us can have a lasting impact. When our caregivers fail to provide the love and acceptance we need, we internalize a sense of being not good enough. This lack of validation can create a void within us, a void that we may spend our entire lives trying to fill. The absence of nurturing and supportive relationships can leave us feeling isolated and misunderstood. This core shame can stay with us throughout our lives, impacting our relationships and self-worth. It can manifest in various ways, from self-sabotage to an inability to trust others. The lingering effects of childhood shame can shape our adult lives, influencing our choices and behaviors. Unresolved shame can lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms. These behaviors, such as substance abuse or self-harm, are often attempts to numb the pain and escape the feelings of inadequacy. However, these temporary fixes only serve to deepen the wounds, creating a cycle of shame and self-destruction. These defenses protect us from the pain of feeling flawed. We may put on a facade of confidence or aggression to shield ourselves from vulnerability. Yet these masks prevent us from being our true selves, keeping us trapped in a state of perpetual fear and anxiety. But they also prevent us from forming genuine connections. The walls we build to protect ourselves can become barriers to intimacy and trust. We may find it difficult to open up to others, fearing rejection or judgment. This isolation can exacerbate our feelings of shame, creating a vicious cycle. Understanding these defenses is crucial for overcoming shame and living a more fulfilling life. By recognizing the patterns and origins of our shame, we can begin to dismantle the barriers that hold us back. Therapy, self-reflection, and supportive relationships can help us heal and reclaim our sense of worth. Embracing our vulnerabilities and seeking connection can lead to a more authentic and meaningful existence. Narcissism is a common defense against shame. It acts as a psychological fortress, shielding the individual from the painful reality of their own perceived inadequacies. It involves creating a grandiose self-image to mask feelings of inadequacy. This inflated self-perception serves as a barrier, protecting the narcissist from the harsh judgments they fear from others. Narcissists crave admiration and validation from others. They seek out praise and recognition, often going to great lengths to ensure they are the center of attention. They use it to fill the void left by a lack of self-love. This constant search for external validation is an attempt to compensate for the deep-seated feelings of worthlessness they harbor within. They may appear confident and successful on the surface. Their outward demeanor often exudes charm and charisma, making them seem like they have it all together. But underneath lies a fragile ego that crumbles at the slightest criticism. Any negative feedback or perceived slight can shatter their carefully constructed self-image, leading to intense emotional turmoil. This constant need for validation can be exhausting for those around them. Friends and family may find themselves walking on eggshells, constantly trying to avoid triggering the narcissist's insecurities. It prevents the narcissist from forming genuine, reciprocal relationships. Their interactions are often one-sided, focused on their own needs and desires, leaving little room for true emotional connection. In the end, the fortress of narcissism becomes a prison. The very walls they build to protect themselves also isolate them, trapping them in a cycle of loneliness and unfulfilled desires. Breaking free from this fortress requires self-awareness and a willingness to confront their vulnerabilities. With the right support and guidance, it is possible for narcissists to dismantle their defenses and build healthier, more authentic relationships. Another common defense against shame is blame. When shame arises, blamers refuse to take responsibility for their actions and feelings. They project their own shortcomings onto others. This protects them from experiencing the pain of self-reproach. Blame often manifests as anger and indignation. It's easier to be angry at someone else than to face our own flaws. This pattern of blame creates conflict in relationships. It prevents the individual from learning from their mistakes and growing. Contempt is perhaps the most insidious defense against shame. It involves viewing others as inferior to protect our own sense of worth. Contempt allows us to distance ourselves from those we deem lesser. This protects our fragile ego from the threat of comparison. Contemptuous individuals often struggle with empathy. They find it difficult to connect with others on a genuine level. This defense mechanism creates distance and hostility in relationships. It hinders personal growth and fosters a sense of isolation. Section 5. Recognizing the defenses, a first step. Recognizing these defenses in ourselves is the first step towards healing. It's about understanding the barriers we put up, often unconsciously, to protect ourselves from perceived threats or discomfort. Pay attention to how you react when you feel criticized or inadequate. Do you deflect blame? Do you find yourself getting defensive or shutting down emotionally? Do you seek excessive admiration? Are you constantly looking for validation from others to feel good about yourself? Or do you put others down to feel better about yourself? Sometimes, we might not even realize we're doing it, but these behaviors can be a sign of deeper issues. Honest self-reflection can be uncomfortable. It requires us to look at parts of ourselves that we might prefer to ignore. But this discomfort is a necessary part of growth. But it's essential for identifying the defenses that may be holding you back. Speaking with a therapist or a trusted friend can provide new perspectives and help you see patterns you might miss on your own. Once you recognize these patterns, you can start to challenge and change them. This process won't happen overnight, but with patience and persistence, you can begin to break down these defenses and build healthier ways of coping. Remember, every small step you take towards self-awareness is a step towards a more fulfilling and authentic life. Section 6. The challenge of therapy, breaking down walls. Treating shame-driven clients can be challenging. These defenses are often deeply ingrained and unconscious. Therapists must approach these clients with empathy and patience. Building trust is crucial, as shame-based individuals are often wary of vulnerability. Therapy provides a safe space to explore the root of these defenses. It helps clients develop healthier coping mechanisms and build self-compassion. It's a journey of self-discovery that requires courage and commitment. Section 7. Empathy, the key to connection. Empathy is crucial for overcoming shame-based defenses. When we can understand and share the feelings of others, we break down the walls of isolation. Empathy allows us to see the humanity in ourselves and others, fostering connection and compassion. Practice active listening. Try to see the world from another person's perspective. Cultivating empathy helps us challenge the judgments and assumptions that fuel shame. Self-compassion is essential for healing shame. It involves treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer a loved one. Challenge your inner critic. Replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations. Remember that everyone makes mistakes. It's part of being human. Forgive yourself for past transgressions. Focus on your strengths and celebrate your accomplishments. Forgiveness is a powerful antidote to shame. Holding on to anger and resentment keeps us trapped in the past. It prevents us from moving forward and experiencing joy. This includes forgiving ourselves for our mistakes and forgiving those who have hurt us. Forgiveness doesn't excuse their actions, it simply releases us from the burden of carrying pain and resentment. Overcoming shame-based defenses allows us to build healthier relationships. We can then connect with others from a place of authenticity and vulnerability. This fosters trust, intimacy, and emotional safety. Learn to communicate your needs assertively. Set healthy boundaries. Surround yourself with supportive and compassionate people. Embracing vulnerability is key to living a fulfilling life. It means allowing ourselves to be seen for who we truly are, imperfections and all. This can be scary, but it's also incredibly liberating. When we embrace vulnerability, we open ourselves up to deeper connection and intimacy. We allow others to see our true selves, and in turn, we see the beauty in theirs. This is the path to authenticity and true happiness.